Welcome to our third series of Learning to Pray. In this series we're going to deal with the gospel passages that speak of Jesus having risen from the dead and appeared to his first followers. And the gospel that I'm choosing for this first one is that of Jesus appearing to his disciples in the upper room behind the locked doors and revealing his wounds to them and how that has an effect on their lives. So I'd like to read to you now this passage from St. John. It's from chapter 20, and it begins with verse 12 to 19 to 30. When it was evening on that day, the first day of the week, and the doors of the house where the disciples had met were locked for fear of the authorities, Jesus came and stood among them and said, "Peace be with you." After he had said this, he showed them his hands and his side. Then the disciples rejoiced when they saw the Lord. Jesus said to them again, "Peace be with you. As the Father has sent me, so I send you." But Thomas, who was called the twin, one of the 12, was not with them when Jesus came. So the other disciples told him, "We have seen the Lord." But he said to them, "Unless I can see the mark of the nails in his hands and put my finger in the mark of his nails and my hand in his side, I will not believe." A week later, his disciples were again in the house, and Thomas was with them. Although the doors were shut and locked, Jesus came and stood among them and said, "Peace be with you." Then he said to Thomas, "Put your fingers here and see my hands. Reach out your hand and put it in my side. Do not doubt, but believe." Thomas answered him, "My Lord and my God." And Jesus said to him, "Have you believed because you have seen me? Blessed are those who have not seen and yet have come to believe." Well, I believe there are two elements in that gospel, that account, that have relevance for each of us. The first is that the significance of the wounds of Jesus to help the disciples to connect with him. And the second is that he came through the locked doors, not as a Hollywood stunt, but just as he could do it in the mysterious fashion he does. Now, most people I meet have got deep wounds in their hearts or in their psyche because of the failures they've had in life. They've had broken relationships, they've had disappointment with their family or their children, they've had disappointment in their business ventures. They've had a series of things that have in one way marked their inner being. They're not physical wounds, they're the wounds that come to the human heart. They're the wounds that come from acute disappointment. They're the wounds that come from your sense of inadequacy, that sort of time when you just feel, where am I heading? And those wounds are very deep, and a psychologist will tell you they work trying to smooth them out. But today we're thinking of the presence of the risen Christ. This is a spiritual thing where he will come because he came with his wounds, and now he'll come to you with your wounds. And he will say to you, "I can help you to bear those, I can transform them into things that are going to help you in your journey. All you have to do is let me be with you." And so our wounds, therefore, are things that are stepping stones, as it were, to a fuller life. Stepping stones that unite us to Christ. And only we have to just say, "Lord, come and heal me. Come and be with me." Simple enough prayers, but they're from the heart, and they will heal the heart. The second point, of course, is the locked room, where he appeared. And he appeared without being announced. He appeared so subtly and quietly. He appeared even though the whole situation was locked away, because most of us at times get locked into our own selves, into our own misgivings, into the prejudices we have, the fears that surround us, the fact that we just feel we can't cope. We can't cope with this or that, so we try to protect ourselves. That's a normal, natural thing, and there's nothing wrong in that. But what we're saying today is Jesus is here to come. He doesn't need you to open your heart, he just can come. If you just say, "Lord, here I am. I'm losing my faith. I'm finding life too much. I can't get on with anything I'm doing." And he will come and he will give you that strength, that inner resolve that grace that everyone needs, because we're not self-sufficient. We need some help from outside, and especially spiritual help. And that's what faith helps us with. So today, we're just putting that to us all, that we can, from the wounds we bear, we can move forward. And if we're locked in ourselves, we don't have to do anything but ask Christ to come and be with us, as he did in the gospel passage with his first followers. And they then went out and transformed their environment because of their deep faith and the strength they had from him. So we'll just say a prayer. Lord Jesus, come to me, enter my heart, heal me of my fears and wounds. Give me the strength I need to face the future, to know that you are with me, that I need you, and you are my Lord and my God.